Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord. This is my message to anyone who is upset or has some level of angst over social media deplatforming. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Here's a thought. Instead of telling God how big your mountain is, perhaps tell the mountain how big your God is. Or, one step further, do as we are commanded in the Bible and say, Mountain, be thou removed. Now in today's video, I'm going to say something that's probably going to shock a lot of people. Her lips to God's ears. Her lips to God's ears. Nation can only heal once, quote-unquote, oppressed. Southern states are liberated. Could not agree with you more, Miss Cortez. Absolutely right. We need to be liberated from Washington, D.C. We need to be liberated from Northern values. We need to be liberated from your values. And most importantly, you need to be liberated from our wealth. I put up this map months ago talking about this. Continue to vote every day with your money. Continue to vote every single day, people here in the South, with your money. Start paying attention. If it comes from the new North Korean states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, divert your funds elsewhere. Liberate yourself. They're on board for it. We're on board for it. Why not make it just de facto instead of de jure? Those are just two Latin terms basically meaning the first one, de facto, in reality. De jure means technically in law. We hear a lot of people talk about secession. Why go through all the nonsense? We can make it a reality in fact. They want it. We want it. It'll work out just fine. See how long they last without Texas, without Florida, without our money, without our wealth. I would like to remind Ms. Cortez that yes, Joe Biden is going to be installed in Washington, D.C. this week. Absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. Between Texas and Florida alone, though, in these states, he lost by 1 million. Don't forget that. And if we added Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama and South Carolina and Tennessee and North Carolina and Missouri and Arkansas and Indiana and Ohio, and we added all those up, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people with a lot of money. If you think we're playing, try us. If you think the state of Florida is playing, try us. Please. We have already put the wheels in motion for other alternative sources for things that we need. We have councils already set up. We have people on the ground doing negotiations. We here in Florida are of the opinion that we would much rather send our money to people in Brazil than people in Michigan, people in Pennsylvania. people in Wisconsin. And we do have the authority to say who comes and who goes in our state and under what circumstances they do. So, Ms. Cortez, I could not agree with you more. I could not agree with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez more on something than this. She is absolutely 100% right. We absolutely need to be liberated. She nailed it. I'll say it again, from her lips to God's ears. There is a liberation that needs to take place. And it is in the South. She got it right. She absolutely got it 100% completely right. See, she said a while back that she didn't think the former president knew how to deal with a girl from the Bronx. Not a problem. We do. We do. We know exactly how to deal with a girl from the Bronx. And New York values. And Washington, D.C. values. And Michigan values. You know, if you don't agree with those values and you're living in those regions, it's time to consider perhaps going someplace and living someplace more aligned with your values. This is an incredible, incredible opportunity to liberate the southern states. They're on board for it. It's literally now something that one of their leaders is talking about. We are of the same mind. Now we just need to come into agreement about the details. That's all that needs to happen. And if Servant Biden is truly a servant and has the spirit of a servant, he will acknowledge this from both his party and from the opposing one, so that we can work together for a brighter future for everyone. Absolutely, totally, 100% all for it. All for it. It's absolutely amazing what God can do when you stand still and you let him move. He literally put his words into the mouth of AOC, of all people. I'm going to read this scripture again for those of you who are so worried about Twitter or Facebook. Or is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Now, some of you might be asking, how can we do this? Real simple. This is the Publix website. Publix, Publix.com, the grocery store. Talking about we support local farmers. And they have, I'll give you the link to this, by the way. Florida local, Georgia local, Carolinas local, Tennessee local, Alabama local, Virginia local. All of the places that you can go and brands that you should look for and names. Of actual farms and places where you can buy things that support the southern states. We can skip Virginia for now. For example, here's Florida. Tomato Time, Sizemore Farms, Mac Farms, Duda Farm Fresh Foods, TKM Bengard Farms, LLC. Tennessee, Tannemer and Antle Family Farms. The Carolinas, Flavor First, Growers and Packers, Cottle Farms, Vertical Roots, Titan Farms, Walter P. Rawl and Sons. It goes on and on. Here's Alabama, Southern Fresh Farms. Absolutely. Absolutely. Take your money and support the South. Support the southern states. cheese is bad for you anyway, that's an easy way to stop supporting Wisconsin. You can buy all sorts of apples all over the place that don't have to come from Michigan. I don't know what Pennsylvania is necessarily known for. I believe dairy to some extent, but that can easily be replaced by Florida, Texas, and Brazil. All about it. Absolutely all about it. I'm going to bring her up one more time just because I want people to see this. AOC. Nation can only heal once the DC oppressed southern states are liberated. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well said and well done, Miss Cortez, for someone so young to have allowed something so wise to come out of her mouth. I am impressed. I really, really am. You have done a service to this nation unlike I think anyone could have predicted. Now we can begin a proper discussion of freedom. Now we can begin a proper discussion of the way forward, so that you can go your way and we can go ours. And I will leave it there. Be thou removed. Like, share, subscribe.